Hey guys, Taro here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We are on Kholodny Ferma Summer. Playing for you today, spawning on the right is dfsCRO, otherwise known as Captain Molo. Very famous for his M3 scout car play. Often would build about 3 of them a game. And when guards were very strong, would often go guards plus M3s. But I've heard of late he's changed his strategies up. He's now playing a lot more Lend-Lease Shermans. Pretty much all his games are as Soviet Union. He's got a few as US forces. He's actually #1 in the world at 4v4 and 2v2 random teams as Soviet, and also he's rank about 60 as in 1v1 as Soviets. So his strategies seem to work pretty well for him. We'll have to see what he's up to these days. Playing against him is our team Brown Mamba, actually better known as momo4sho. He is playing as OKW, and in his loadout is Luftwaffe ground forces, scavenge, and breakthrough. So we see some wire going down here on this cutoff. I mean, not on this cutoff, this munitions point, which is important because this is a very, very commonly harassed area. Often your allied opponent tries to gain control of this garrison, apply pressure to your cutoff and munitions point, and it can be very hard to dethrone them from that area. So Momo's doing an interesting strategy. It's quite common also to wire this off because it's quite easy to just run through this section. And that way it makes it a bit harder. They have to come through this negative cover to get round, and you know, it's just generally a pretty good spot to wire off. Also see some sandbags placed down here so that Molo can't really make use of that, as they're hidden behind that VP. See the truck coming in for some pushing, and Stern Pioneer's about to round the corner. Here comes the truck. Very risky doing this, of course, these days, considering how low its health is, but you can generally make one pass, especially if your opponent doesn't try focus it down with his entire army, which is currently the case here. Stern Pioneer's doing good damage here in close, but there are a lot of conscripts here as well. See early Raketenwerfer from Momo, expecting the M3 scout car, but no, nothing so far. We've got 4 conscripts from dfsCRO. And he hasn't even put down his tech structure, so this thing's not going to see any real combat duties for a wee while yet. Still, that push is largely run out of steam. Both those conscript squads very damaged, returning to base for some healing. This one's actually really low. I wonder if he's getting medics. Yes, he is. So it's nicely done from him, getting those medics so that they'll pop just in time for those 2 spots to arrive for healing. So that's some good timing there by dfsCRO on his tech of that healing. So conscripts caught in the middle between 2 Volksgrenadier squads. Forced retreat, and ultimately this squad was sitting behind the cover on this side of the tank rather than on this side of the tank. And they didn't actually end up capping that center VP, so as Soviets you generally want to get a VP lead against OKW in the early game, because OKW's late game is so strong you may have trouble winning it there, so you need to get a good lead in VPs early, otherwise you might be in a bit of trouble. Now we see Momo making a push for dfsCRO's cutoff. Personally, I recommend with your combat engineers or pioneers or whatever, always wire off this side of the cutoff. It makes it so much harder for your opponent to hold on to your cutoff when he's pushing it. So that's what I personally always do. You can set up a shift command so you get your combat engineers to come into the circle and then put down the wire, so it doesn't really cost you any micro while you're trying to do it. This conscript's getting quite low. May go down here. He's slow to react. There he goes, and yep, coming across the new cover road, gets gatted down by those Fox Grenadiers. Fox Grenadiers though have been sitting slightly outside the capping circle though, so whilst that is neutralised, it is what was that? It hasn't been captured. That was that a predictive Molotov to try and get in their retreat path? I don't understand why he threw that Molotov. That was curious. So we see a battle group behind this garrison from Momo. Pretty common spot for it to be placed. He's now bringing up an infantry support gun, which are very strong this patch. Just 330 manpower. They're pinning, one-shot pinning squads left and right. Super accurate. Just about never miss. It's a very, very strong unit at the moment. I imagine we'll be seeing some slight reductions to that. Maybe either to its suppression or its accuracy, or maybe a cost increase again now that it's so strong. Something like that. Because they did all those cost reductions because it was performing so poorly for so long, but they just kept buffing it and buffing it and buffing it. And now it's very potent. You often see players go for two of them. And if the RNG is on their side, it can be very hard to deal with. Very hard to use light machine guns as well when playing against two infantry support guns. So M1919's become an issue, and so do guards. Can't really play guards against two infantry support guns. Better off going with shock troops. Nice Molotov there on the other side of the cover. Oh, but he's got to retreat through it himself, and he's gonna go down. Here comes a Dishka, way out of position. What is he doing with this Dishka? I guess he just seen it there and just forgot about it. Still, that's two conscripts down for dfsCRO already. And he hasn't really executed any cut-off maneuvers himself, and this is his second time coming down for dfsCRO's cut-off. So he's off to a really rough start right now. Also surprising that he's gone for a Dishka, considering he knows his opponent is a infantry support gun. Generally, because Soviet Union MGs have really fast setup time, they're quite good on the offensive, bringing along them for pushes, but they'll be a sitting duck for the infantry support gun. Still, this is some really good resource harassment from Momo. He's now putting down his tech structure, covering his cutoff and his fuel point. And he's actually got quite a lot of fuel in the bank as well, so we may be seeing a fast Luke's. Because dfsCRO, he needs to get his tech structures going down here. Otherwise it's going to get severely caught out by that Luke's. Hasn't put any mines down either that I'm aware of. He's got quite a lot of munitions in the bank. Only having spent a little bit on Molotovs and that flamethrower. Oh, incendiary versus Molotov. They trade flame bombs. Momo on the other hand only has to retreat a very short distance for healing, so probably slightly to his favour, though he was a bit slower to react. Took a little bit more damage from it. So now the Dishka putting pressure on Momo's munitions. And Momo is indeed bringing out his Lukes. That should be here shortly. So this is actually pretty good usage of the Dishka. Momo does try and push out to try and cap. He gets shut down pretty hard by that Dishka. Oh, two of those guys got burned up straight away by that Molotov. Roasting them, roasting them, roasting them. And we see the Molo is in. Oh, I keep alternating between Molo and dfsCRO. I apologise if that's confusing. We see that he's intent on going for a 4 conscript build, because despite having lost 2 conscripts, he keeps rebuilding them. So 4 conscripts must be part of his plan. So now Disca's in a lot of trouble. Luke's gets around behind it. I imagine that Disca may be able to penetrate the rear armor of the Luke's. It does have okay penetration. It's supposed to be used against light vehicles. Either way, I mean, the situations in which that would happen are very rare. And look at this thing, it's just getting bugged out left and right. Just cannot get away. Will he do it though? Yes, he climbs up that cliff there and he gets away. Lucky break there. I suppose it was kind of unlucky that it was getting bugged out and wasn't running away. Oh no, look at this conscript squad. Terrible retreat path here. Oh, but they got those roller skates going. They got those roller skates going. Too strong. AT grenade allows those conscripts to retreat without dying to the Lukes. Still no tech structure down. He's got a lot of everything floating at the moment. He needs to get his ZIS going ASAP. And there's some overs out from Momo, so early overs. Not feeling the pressure to pick any of his doctrine choices. Instead going with Oversoldaten as this elite infantry. He's had such an easy road to tier 4. He can afford to not make any doctrine selection. He hasn't needed infiltration grenades or the Jaeger lights or an MG34. So here comes M5 with the PPSH guards. Hooks has been repaired though and is on the scene. Forces that back, but doesn't want to take engine damage. There are a lot of conscripts here with AT grenades. Disca is also being brought up. ISG's pumping away at this church. Quite upgraded now. That must have been upgrading while he was driving it, and then those guards popped out once the upgrade completed. Rick Inworth is trying to push forward, trying to find a line on the quad. Unsuccessful though, and gets cleared. Though they're going to have to be... I mean, there's no way that they can recruit this under Luke's fire and negative cover. That's just suicide. Should be... Oh no, you can't reinforce from this anymore. I was going to say you should be reinforcing from this quad, but you can't do that anymore. He's about to lose this conscript squad. Gets around the corner. What? How is he? Is he actually reinforcing from it? I thought they removed this. Is this a different thing for the Lend-Lease quad? I don't know. That's interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Personally, haven't built the quad yet. I haven't played Soviets this patch. Just been playing US forces and Brits and Austria. Haven't got a chance to play Soviets yet. So a bloody engagement there on both sides. Lots of dead men everywhere. Probably dfsCRO got the shorter end of their stick. He's down only 1 conscript squad now, or 2 conscript squads now. He used to have 4. And took a lot of bleed as well. Jaeger lights now selected by Momo. Brought in to flank that MG. Highly successful effort. Now they're going to sprint away from the flamethrower. Nope, yes. Not sure what's going on there. LMG upgraded on these obers. They're going to be spitting hot fire. Oh, flamethrower goes up in flames. Jaeger lights job is complete. It looks like they're going to soft retreat for some reinforcements again. So the quad is receiving repairs. Looks like dfsCRO's not going to even try put down his tech structure, which I think is a mistake because he could obviously build as this, which would help him immensely against the Lukes, which is up to 26 kills. My god. Instead he's just going to try wait till he gets to the Kholodny Ferma at 10 command points. It's going to suffer a hell of a lot of bleed in the meantime, and also building your tech structure does give you a bit of XP and helps that command point ticker along, so I would highly recommend in this situation, especially when you've got so much fuel in the bank, to just build your tech structure. It only costs, what, 20 fuel these days? Something like that. Just do it. I suppose an unintended issue with that new tech structure price change is that you can no longer go for an early forward retreat point on your urban defense. I wonder if they'll make some changes to that in the future. Kind of just makes that commander useless now, honestly. Was interesting for, you know, change of pace on some maps, but no longer really viable because of that change to the tech structure costs and the reduced starting resources of Soviets. Of course, you can't just reduce the cost of those forward HQs to 20 or whatever, because then everyone would just put them on every single building on the map, and that's not really a desirable outcome either. Oops. So, Momo continues to apply good pressure to dfsCRO's cutoff. Lux continues to tear everything to shreds. But that last little bit of tearing has allowed dfsCRO to get up to the 10 command points required to call in the Kholodny Ferma, and here it comes. Racing down the road. It's on the prowl for the Lukes. Misses its first shot. Second shot connects. Manages to block it. And it's gonna go down here. Looks like he tried to activate cautious movement there, maybe? I don't know. Kholodny Ferma goes for a crush, but that squad quickly retreats. Oh, but he's sticking around. He's about to run into Rekenwiffer and Shrek fire. I think one more Shrek will finish the job in this Kholodny Ferma. Oh, and he gets it. I believe that Kholodny Ferma does have decent armor, so it could potentially bounce the Shrek shot. Oh, I could be wrong on that. I believe it has comparable armor to the EZ8. Certainly sounds like the EZ8 when it's firing. So we've got the quad and the Kholodny Ferma making a push. Kholodny Ferma goes for a crush on those Jaeger lights. Ends up forcing a retreat. He's got to save up a little bit more fuel to get another Kholodny Ferma, and at the moment he's completely cut off. His infantry forces are very low. He's making a play for the center VP, which I think is a mistake. Opens him up to infantry support gunfire. Should probably try and regather his half of the map as a priority. Maybe leave the Dishka in the center to protect his cutoff down this way. Looks like that is now what he's doing, rotating to the south of the map. Excuse the yawn there. I only got 6 hours of sleep last night. Man, I managed to get fired up on some yerba mate tea and a tablespoon of coconut oil. Highly recommended combo. Quad still working its magic, suppressing those squads effectively, managing to skate away on very low health. Kholodny Ferma just sitting here in the center, not up to much. ISG barraging away this Dishka. So it looks like you could reinforce at least off the Kholodny Ferma once this upgrade with the quad, which is probably unintended. Probably make a note of that.
Panther, ready for action.
Fox Grenadiers chase away those guards there in the south. I hear a tank from Momo. That's a Panther, but he's still got to be careful. He still has to 2v1 these Kholodny Fermas, and these things are strong, especially if they get up close or maybe even flank the Panther and make around its extremely strong frontal armor. It could cause a lot of issues. He's got to be very wary of those AT grenades as well. Last thing he wants is his highly mobile tank immobilized. So it looks like Momo is preparing for another push for the cutoff once more, and this could be the final push. dfsCRO's infantry force is very weak at the moment compared to Momo. If we look at army size, we see Momo's about 20 ahead. Still, slight vehicle advantage to dfsCRO, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Momo gets first blood in the tank fight. Kholodny Ferma takes a Panther shell to the rear. Kholodny Ferma's ignoring the Panther, instead trying to chase off these infantry squads, run straight into this Raketenwerfer. Raketenwerfer's trying to reposition. It's about to go down. Kholodny Ferma's in a bit of trouble though. Panther's taking it down. There's a bit of pathing issues here. Panther's coming forward, trying to finish the job. Oh, when he does, he goes, I don't even know how he got that shot off. Looked like it curved around the church. It's the old curveball shot. I suppose not, maybe not. Can't look like it from that angle though. So this Panther's just tearing it up right now. I don't think a single Kholodny Ferma shot has even penetrated. He needs to put this on prioritized vehicles. He keeps firing at infantry instead of focusing on the Panther. Raketenwerfer does briefly get recruited there. These Kholodny Fermas need to focus on the Panther. I can't express that seriously enough. Oh my god, look at that. As soon as he cruised it, ISG just knocks it out. Panther's going deep, finishes the job on the quad. Kholodny Ferma is now hidden behind its smoke wreckage though. Obi's getting behind enemy lines, just tearing into these conscripts, finishing the job. PPSH cons are still here, but they've got to be careful, and that's game over. Get out of the range of the sound, which is possible. Doesn't look like I can. Well, that was interesting. I think dfsCRO tried to focus far too much on the center of the map, where he was a juicy target for the infantry support gun, also very close to Momo's forward reinforcement point, and he never seemed to make much headway. Probably should have tried going north a bit more, especially in the early game, and tried to deny Momo the ability to put down this tech structure. Definitely should have gone tier 2 to speed up his command point clock and get a Zis to counter that Luke's, which really just tore him up throughout the mid game. And yeah, I'll wrap on that, guys. If you'd like your game to be cast by me, details in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.